in terms of maybe...
I mean, I was expecting them to maybe not be able to be as confident against a team like SK, and they proved a lot of people wrong so far.
This now means that Elevate have to at least beat Foot Esports to get out of this group, which is by no means a sure thing. They look incredible, but having a look over the groups in general, we've seen Pioneers take Space Station to task already in that first match of Group B. That, of course, is the #2 seed from NA. They look very, very good. Already, though, we're starting to see now the cream rise to the top. SK Gaming might have been #3 seed from EMEA, but that region is deep, quality teams. All of their representatives here have the potential to take their groups entirely. So it's something you've got to look out for. Great showing. I'm really impressed with what we've seen so far from our teams. SK Gaming, the magic is back. It always seems to be here.
They looked a little bit more nervous than usual, I'll be honest, on a couple of occasions. But again, as we said, going into that third set, this is where a team like SK can really thrive, because they have that confidence in each other, knowing full that they can actually just bring each other up and get the best out of each other.
How was your prediction? Did you get it right? I'm pretty sure all of us had SK Gaming down, but I was not very sure of it as soon as we got into game. Event.brawlstars.com, that's where you can get your predictions in for the rest of these matches and participate to win yourself some great in-game goodies. We're going to go to a break, folks, but we're just getting started here live from Superfest. More from the Brawl Stars World Finals after this.
The 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals are brought to you by ESL, Monster Energy, and DHL.
People often ask, how can I do become a World Championship winner? What must I do to get Abs of Steel and Fist of Fury? The answer? Gimnasio Primo! You will learn to summon strength, summon asteroids, and serve a spicy jalapeno knuckle sandwich to even the strongest of brawlers. Fight with El Fuego in your heart. It will not be easy, but as El Primo once said, no pain, no gain, no glory. Gimnasio Primo. It's showtime.
Once upon a brawl, a new evil emerged. A handsome young minstrel who once charmed crowds, now fallen to darkness, his smile but a shroud. A mischievous feline, known for his cute paws. Now a master thief, unlocking chests and doors. A healing guitar and a friendly face. Now a flaming skull, kindness gone without a trace. A delicious cookie baker, one of the best. Now a haunted castle, a ghoulish guest. This automaton once served juice. Now with his sword, your head he'll make loose. A knight turned into a nightmare. Nani and Peep now only want to stare. A fairy tale ending? No! A scary tale beginning!
Welcome back to the Brawl Stars World Finals at Superfest, live from Helsinki, Finland. If you're only just joining us, then we have completed our first match of the tournament where SK Gaming just beat out Elevate by the smallest of margins. And also, please take note that simultaneously, we have a B stream that is also running half of today's matches. But without any further ado, I believe it is time to get into our next match right here on the main stage by introducing your next two teams. And ladies and gents, this one is going to be a banger, because first up, we have your 2023 World Champions. It's Gero, Meow, and Novi. They are Zeta Division. And their opponents, the best team in the APAC region and arguably the world. But let's see if that's true. It's Tentai, Shitampo, and Moya. They are Crazy Raccoon.
match down on the stream. A second one soon to begin. Welcome to the desk. Trav, how was that one from the sidelines? Quite the banger to start off the day.
I genuinely don't think we could have asked for a better game to start the World Finals of 2024. So much exciting action.
Well, we've got to move on to our next matchup, of course, Zeta versus CR. And for Zeta, these are the world champions. Do they need an introduction? Honestly, Bulgaru, Meow, and Novi going to try to make it 2 times consecutively. Certainly as well, got to mention, this is a grudge match here as well from last year's World Finals. And Meow as well, of course, a very accomplished player in this squad. It's kind of interesting to see the favourite brawler being Frank. Don't really necessarily pin that specific brawler to him, but nonetheless, let's see if it makes an appearance. It is kind of a meta which could call for it, but certainly a great amount of pressure on this very team to keep that crown on their heads.
Apparently world champions don't need food. He doesn't even know what food he likes. Question mark on the food. He doesn't even know himself, never mind us here on the desk. But yeah, what an absolutely incredible team Zeta Division have been all year long and in previous years as well. But let's talk a little bit about their opponents. Crazy Raccoon. And we're about to find out what happens when you pin world champions against world champions, Tensai, Tampo and Moya. And yet again, they don't need much introduction themselves.
This is the #1 seed coming out of the APAC region. Of course, Tensai being the only player in this World Finals to be a 2-time world champion. Amazing stuff. Of course, no doubt about his favorite brawler being Max. I mean, he is really linked specifically to Max and has been over the years. So, again, I'm looking forward to seeing whether that brawler might make an appearance for him. But this is going to be, honestly, such a tough matchup. This is the group of death, in my opinion. And going back to the 2023 World Finals, it was Zeta Division that knocked out Crazy Raccoon in that semi-final stage to a 3-2 scoreline, just the narrowest of narrow margins, Traven. A pinnacle moment in Brawl Esports history, let alone just in that World Finals.
You say your group of death. And honestly, that is exactly what it is. All 5 of us are going to go for Crazy Raccoon, though, and I was pretty comfortable. I was pretty happy with my decision, and I'm sure the rest of us were as well. But the public are going to go for Zeta Division.
Hey, do you know what? I don't mind it. Who are we to tell the public not to vote for the world champions? I mean, hey, it's going to be very much a 50-50 matchup for me. I just feel like Crazy Raccoon have been a team which have been developing a bit over the years towards draft, which in my opinion was kind of like their more weaker area. Technically, I think that they are technically the best team in the world. I think their thumbs just move diff. I think that many would say the same, but I think for me, the weakest area has been their draft, and that's an area where Zeta Division, they've been cooking. I was chatting last night to Latox, and there's some serious math, some serious algorithms going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to divulge too much into their secret strats, but it was very fascinating to hear how they are approaching the draft, and they think they cracked it.
And this is the thing as well, Zeta Division, they've been so back and forward for the past 2 years. They'll win a monthly final, or they'll go out in the first round, and that's the story for the Polish boys. The thing is, they show up on the world stage no matter what, and I think that's the exact same thing about Crazy Raccoon. Coming in as #1 from APAC, they started strong, they ended the year strong, and now they're here to show the exact same at World Finals.
And you'll remember the amount of experience as well on the side of Crazy Raccoon. For Tensai's 5th World Finals, for Tampo it's 4, for Moya it's 3rd. I mean, actually kind of surprising when you look back at Moya's career. He's always just come that little bit short, being back in 2022 on Zeta Division 1, not the team that won the whole thing, becoming 2nd place. It's got to feel a little bit rough, but every year making some moves towards greatness, and this could be his year.
Yeah, genuinely. I mean, the thing is, with predictions especially, the fact that we can predict a team over the world champions of last year is just crazy, and that just goes to show how much of an incredible matchup this is. The magnitude that we're starting the Brawl Stars World Finals 2024 off with, a double match point game for the first, and then we're pitting world champions against world champions for the second.
And this is a grudge match that's gone back through the test of time as well, back to 2022. Back then it was Geru and Naui on the Chazmak Gaming EU roster that faced Moya and Tampo in that World Finals, losing to a 1-3 scoreline. So some of the crossovers still remain to this day, and certainly, I mean, there are going to be so many eyes to see how APAC as a region is faring against EMEA, especially as we watch today the closeness between North America and EMEA. I want to see whether APAC are kind of back on top, as it's been a bit of a while really since that time has been. Zeta Division, of course, last year lifting that trophy and really turning some heads as a team which are very much kind of keeping themselves to themselves and just playing things out through their thumbs and making their experience count in the games. They're very similar teams in that regard. They're not going to be too much in each other's faces.
Yeah, both teams exude so much confidence, but they do it in different ways. We've seen Crazy Raccoon 2-0 down in World Finals, laughing, having a bit of fun, full faith in themselves. Whereas Zeta Vision are the complete opposite. Yes, they still have that confidence, but they're ice cold, showing no emotions, and they know they've got a leg in every single game.
But hey, we did see a little bit this year, right, on social media where Zeta came out of their shell. The kind of silence that they've had throughout the years sort of disappeared this year. We saw some back and forth, shall we say, on there, and that was an interesting dynamic that we hadn't really seen from that team. So maybe we're seeing a little bit more of a shift towards them being more outgoing this World Finals. Who knows?
I would absolutely love to see that. A bit of Zeta Vision coming out of their shell and just running across the stage, having a bit of a shout across, trying to intimidate the opponents, rather than just doing what they have over the past few years and be the norm. Bells Rock in Knockout is going to be our first match. Let's see how close it was, and it wasn't even close, guys. Top seed out of APAC versus Zeta Division, and it's 67% going the way of the Europeans.
And, Zeta Division are the number 2 seed coming out of EMEA, which, historically has always been a region that has just been a little bit of a cut above the rest. And that's just not me saying it. That's a lot of people thinking it. As we go in now, then, let's check out the bands. The Kenji on both sides, the Grey and the Angelo, the Tick and the Mo. Definitely the 2 main offenders there for me being the Kenji and the Mo, so great to see that they are already out of the mix. Now, looking back at the interviews as well in the BSCN magazine, when asking Tensai as to how he thought about those 2 brawlers on a scale of 1 to 10, he put down Mo and Kenji being a 10 as being the worst offenders, so no doubt in my mind that Crazy Raccoon are going to ban those 2 at least. And another first pick, Sprout. It's a very risky time in the draft to do so, I said in the previous set as well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure about the Sprout being a first pick. Yes, later on down the line, we've seen it so many times as a third pick when the other team lacks the aggression, lacks the ability to throw over the walls. I think it's absolutely incredible as a late pick. As a first pick, very, very uncommon. But then again, we've seen Mo and Kenji slip through the draft so many times already, so honestly, I'm not even sure what I'm expecting through the drafts in this competition. We're going to see the Gene as the first pick coming in from Crazy Raccoon, though. I do like that. It's been a bit of a while, I feel, since we've seen it on this map specifically, but RT has been in and around the meta as of late. Once he kind of got that rework to the gadget, the ability to kind of snap in between your legs and the long-range mode has become a lot more fluid.
And certainly a great pairing as well with that Gene. Their leg form is going to just dissipate your opposition immediately so I do quite like how Crazy Raccoon are approaching that one. For Zeta Division, a chance to respond to things. They've got the control, they haven't really got the range, and that's kind of where I'm seeing things at the moment. I wouldn't mind a Bell, but Gus is probably better, in my opinion, as well, to have the opportunity to maybe share that shield with a tankier brawler. But, it's not going to do the greatest amount. The RT going to be playing more defensive if that were the case. But hey, they're going to think about it. And I think Pearl's not a bad shout. Has got that range to be able to keep things at bay. And also, as we know, that overcooked ability can be devastatingly quick at taking down your opposition.
Yeah, the Gus works for me. The Pearl, it's a countermeasure, just in case they bring out some tanks that Gus and Sprout aren't going to be able to deal with themselves. They bring in the Pearl, it's got the range. Once you kind of build up that heat and get the extra damage down, it can deal with tanks. You can kind of pepper down opponents at range, especially with that gadget. You can be able to get some kills that nobody was really expect either. Pair that with a shield, get her close, and that's going to be a lot of damage raining down. But we'll see what Crazy Raccoon do take for their last pick, and it's going to be Brock. And I mean, that surprises me quite a bit.
It's definitely the kind of brawler which is not too flashy, let's be honest, and I've always said it's a bit more of a kind of safe pair of hands, but the wall break I think is going to be quite available to then Crazy Raccoon to really open up the map, allow that Sprout to have less maneuvering ability to connect those walls around, and I think that's the kind of play. They want to kind of open things up as much as possible, as that Sprout can just get so much control over the map if they're not careful. I don't mind it. Who are you kind of siding with from comp?
I think I'd say Zeta Division. It's kind of something we've questioned all year long is Crazy Raccoon's composition, or drafting skills, I should say. So we'll see if they're actually going to be able to make it up on the world stage and do a bit of a better job. But Zeta, with the early positioning control.
Well, Moya needs to try to get a bit more splash early on. He needs that magic hand, something towards the end of the rounds to be able to really connect with his teammates on. So far, Zeta in a pretty decent spot despite that wall break and that bottom left-hand side, giving more space for CR to maneuver. It's this bottom right now that makes me cautious as Meow's maneuvering with Garu and just putting CR into a bit of a corner, and this is getting risky now.
Yeah, you got to be cautious with this gene pull as well, but Meow's managed to get himself a wall, and that's going to be a big help in this late game when we start to see it close down and the walls have been broken in mid by Tensai. He does take a few shots to the face on the left-hand side though, but thanks to those magic buffs, he gets the heals up, blocks Chitampo out, and that means he's going to have to go into the gas. We see Moy get taken down. Tensai's going to follow, and Chitampo will be there shortly after. 3-0 for Zeta Division, and what a start for them.
Really clean, really methodical, despite some great taps from Shitampo there as well, and the Hacks Gadget combo just was not enough. Great start for Zeta Division now, but Moya has got the magic hand, and Shitampo has got the leg form also, Tensai with the Rocket Rain, and now it's starting to be Crazy Raccoon that are getting a bit more of that mid-control, forcing back Zeta Division. Hypercharge now available for Meow too, but there's the hand from Moya, and a swift takedown, making it a 3 versus 2 now.
It's the exact answer we needed from Crazy Raccoon, and they do just that. Shitampo has the legs as well. If it gets to late game, he's going to be a big help in these closing seconds. Pearl over the left-hand side going to be doing more of the same on the opposition side, though. Still got a shield, but it's got a question of whether or not they're going to use it. Big hits coming in from Tensai, managed to make a connection with both of them, and it looks like they're looking for the gas as their answer, but Shitampo will deny that, and now he will follow in shortly after, as we see Crazy Raccoon even the score in round 2.
This round then for the first game, a great deal of utility there for Zeta Division. Hypercharge still there with Meow, and supers for both Gyaru there and Naui, so let's see how they choose to use them. So Hypercharge for Tensai also. Shitampo just trying to work his way around, and a good healthy wall there from Meow, forcing back Zeta, forcing back CR rather into that bottom left-hand side as it was in that first round. A devastating spot, they won't forget that at all. Continuing to push their way forward just a little bit. CR now know they've got to push back, and they're doing so, getting a bit more leg in that mid.
Yeah, they're starting to gain some real ground back up, but in that instance, Meow's going to throw down a wall and try to get control of this right-hand side once more. Here comes the hypercharge from Tensai, and everybody springs into action with the side of Crazy Raccoon, raining down on Meow, but surviving narrowly on 278. Now Zeta start to rejoin him in the mid. The pull's there, but it's missed. The shield was pressed as a bit of a countermeasure, but the pull was missed regardless. Naui, over the right-hand side, is marked up, has to be a bit cautious about how he plays this out, but now the hypercharge comes from Moya, extra speed, and there's the Vengeful Spirits as well. Round the right-hand side, now he gets a dirty hit with the super, Moya goes down, Tensai all alone, can he get it done? Gets one, but the gas doesn't hit in time, and Zeta Division take game 1.
There was nowhere to go but up, and straight into a Sprout shot. A very close affair. CR just coming just that little bit short there. Going into this next one, gonna have to just rethink slightly. So close, but Zeta kept the ice in their veins. Claimed the first game now. Need to see a little bit more of an adaptation, a bit more confidence being displayed here from Crazy Raccoon as they're getting pushed around just a little bit too much for me. Could have gone either way, though, let's be honest.
I mean, Meow just playing it so cautiously towards the end there. Did end up saving the gas, but in the end, outlasted his opponent with a nice hit. Another one of those rocket fuel goes down. Actually tries to use it to get a kill rather than breaking down some of these Sprout walls. That's not the route I would have gone, but now chooses to pivot and go for that wall break on the bottom side where Meow is lingering.
Ooh. Good Rocket Rain connection there from Tensai, and that is exactly the bit of a breath of relief that they can now grasp. All top of this low, but the pickup is there from Moya. Lovely stuff. A 3 versus 1 is not something that CR are going to take lightly. They'll be able to just keep things together, get the job done, and get that round on the board.
Seemed maybe a bit of overconfidence in there from Zeta Division as well. Went so aggressive and got picked off one by one by the side of Crazy Raccoon. So might need to kind of revert to the default settings of just playing this one a bit more passively and allowing the Sprout to do the work in the late game and the mid game. And kind of allowing them to just have this patience at the start.
Well, Moya is certainly going to want to connect with Meow. In the meanwhile, it's the top that gets the defining of Gyaru, making it a 3 versus 2, exactly what Crazy Raccoon wants to have going into this one. That first round in the bag. Tensai could even use the hypercharge now and just secure things. Either be the way that I would go is now that top right as well. Meow so incredibly low. As a result, the Hacks Gadget, Tensai dancing, but the support now coming through from Shitampo, from Moya, and that's going to be a game going the way of Crazy Raccoon.
Just what we wanted. A close match is what we were promised, and Crazy Raccoon not dropping this first set without a fight. Zeta Division need to kind of rethink their tactics now, as I feel a slight bit of over-aggression definitely came in there, slight bit of overconfidence, and an early break from Tensai of this right-hand side, choosing not to break this kind of mid-portion of the map at the start.
Makes a lot of sense. They were kind of struggling as Meow started to work his way around to the right then, and kind of that was the wall that was being a bit problematic. As that lane side would start to take hold, Novi there just knows that if you can just push forwards, get that pressure on, then those wall breaks are less likely to happen. Now Meow's already got an early wall here as well. Going to place it down. That middle area going to be there as well. Not the best of coverage because Gyaru's there in the mid waiting to land some of those gust shots, but it will trickle down eventually. And again, this is the position that Zeta like to place Crazy Raccoon in that back left corner. They need to start to spread out and make some space for themselves, keep their HP in check with the result of that star power from the Gene. Tough position now, Tampa is so low.
Easy shots from Meow. He left kind of a pathway through there and chose to punish Tampa, who wanted to walk through it. Moya solo at the top side. Gero trying to pinch in now, but no shot from the Pearl finding it. Meow versus Tensai up close, and the Sprout wins that one. Gero versus Shitambo down the bottom. Now trying to get some shots onto Moya, gets one, and the Gadget as well. 2v1 as Zeta managed to take the first round of the deciding game.
That got shield. Instrumental. The decision just to keep pushing their way forwards was really the right one there for Zeta at just the right time. He knew he was a couple of shots away from earning it, and it just came at a perfect time as Moya now with his magic hand needs to find a connection. Well, this set will be all over. Crazy Raccoon have got to survive this one just that little bit longer on. He can just kind of pair things with Tampo and get that immediate takedown. It doesn't really matter who he tries to pull now. The Sprout comes down, will provide a little bit of coverage, but not really the best of them for Meow. But the map's so open now, he's not really got much choice.
Still got gadgets though. There's the ball. Meow gets caught. The shield's wasted from Gero as well. Tries to catch Meow as he's been getting dragged in by Moya, but is unsuccessful in that. 2v1 to make this the decisive round. CR need to get this one in the books and ready to move on to the next. Down goes Naui. Gus gonna retreat into the gas, and it's a deciding round to see who takes this first set.
One round for the set, and there's a hypercharge there for Tensai, one there for Meow on the other side of Zeta 2. The Sprout wall's gonna be a big one to start things off and keep the pressure on the side of Zeta. Tampa not really using much of the leg form. Look at these two hypercharges now from Crazy Raccoon for both Tensai and Moya, staring down the barrel of Zeta, getting a much better position as a result of it. This hypercharge in the Gene though, we've seen it not pay off, especially with a Pearl on the other end of the field. So that placement has got to be perfect, but already getting a good foothold in this mid on the side of Crazy Raccoon.
I mean, Zeta Division is so scared, regardless of having 3 supers, because a Gene pull with Hypercharge and a Brock with Hypercharge is going to be a lot more devastating when you're trying to push up the map. Gero rotating around the right-hand side, still got a shield in hand. We have the Hypercharge from the Sprout, but what's that in comparison to the Hypercharge from the Gene? Tampo finding some shots. Down goes this wall on the right-hand side. Moya not really in range of trying to get this pull. He's going to stay and focus on the Pearl.
Well, the gas will not be far away now. Time is ticking, a wall goes down, but there's a double hypercharge on the side of Crazy Raccoon! A trade on both sides now! A 2 versus 2! Shitambo finding Meow there, Gero is low as well, but the shot, that second one from Tensai did find it! Everyone is so low! Who is going to be staying left standing? It's a rocket! Double kill for Tensai! And Crazy Raccoon as a result will claim the first set!
Tensai gets 2. And throws his hands up in the air in celebration. Zeta Division look on. The world champions of 2023 are behind in the first game of 2024.
But what a back and forth affair. I mean, really and truly, could have gone either way. It was a slow start there for Crazy Raccoon, as Zeta really did keep the pressure on the earliest moments. But they started to adapt, they started to learn along the way as to how to beat their opposition. I think there's wall breaks from Tensai. That Brock pick, again, not the flashiest, but certainly one that was just the right call to make in these final moments there as well. Chaotic, to say the least, but nonetheless, CR at the beginning, definitely more than nervous. That was just clutch there from Meow. I mean, a few pixels away from the gas. I think we could be going to a third and final set again on this one, honestly, because Zeta won't be taking that one lying down.
Yeah, I was honestly so surprised to see those kind of closing interactions as frequently as we did. Zeta really wouldn't have been wanting to go into those late seconds with the Sprout. And how many times Meow got pulled as well? He gets pulled in, Gero wastes his super. There's so many mistakes, I feel, from Zeta Division. As I mentioned a few times now, a lot of overconscious. Look at that shot from Tensai. That's just gorgeous. How perfect that has got to be to hit both of them there, or the game could have gone very differently.
Yeah, 8 takedowns there for Tensai, and I think absolutely deservedly so. DPS across the board, though, let's be honest, pretty evenly matched. Certainly a bit lower on the side of Novi, but I mean, you'd expect that playing the Pearl. Your job is primarily to kind of stay there and get cooking and try to time your strike. But nonetheless, I mean, whoa, what an instrumental gene pool as well at just the right time for Crazy Raccoon. Because if that had been amiss. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that was a Zeta Division set, and I mean, what a time to get it right on the world stage when it matters most.
Yeah, I will say there were so many instances where the Gene made the big difference, but so many kills out of Tensai as well, being that man who's going to assist the damage when the pull comes through. And we saw it, towards the end there, I started to kind of question if it was going to be a win for them because the Pearl got the super in when pulled in. We're heading on to center stage in Brawl Ball. We've seen it once today already, and it was an explosive game.
It really was. I mean, it's such a great map, honestly. Just perfect for tanks, perfect for coverage. And then the decision as to whether you want to leave that bush and keep that unpredictability. Crazy Raccoon banning the max. That's got to hurt them. It really has. A little bit of a sting to the heart there for Tensai, who we know would love to get his hands on it. Kenji's actually open here. The Mo ban, the Clancy ban, and the max for Crazy Raccoon. And the first pick of Surge is a fantastic one, honestly, for Zeta. I do love to see it. The Luban, the Nita, and the Otis from Zeta. We are seeing a little bit of an Otis rise up. Well, not one that I was particularly expecting today coming into the World Finals, but I have noticed that Otis is definitely good in certain brawlers, so I don't mind it necessarily. And there is the Kenji. I mean, it kind of had to be, honestly. I mean, again, Crazy Raccoon saying that they really value those two brawlers as being the most problematic in this current meta makes a lot of sense.
I mean, regardless of how many kind of counters you throw at Kenji, he's going to be able to do something in the game regardless. And especially with Mo off the table, which they themselves accounted for, they're the ones who banned that out, is definitely going to be very hard to face. With no Mo, as many tank counters as you want to bring, Kenji's going to be able to do something. I like the Surge pick, though. It's so versatile, very strong. They're going to take the Gale away from Zeta Division as well to prevent that extra countermeasure.
I wish I cut you off. I was literally going to say it. It had to be. It really did, because if they didn't do that, they were leaving themselves so open for a big problem. I mean, certainly the Surge is already a good brawler into Kenji anyway, so, I mean, I think that Zeta has still got a pretty decent opportunity here, but you've got to pair the biggest 10 counter with your Kenji, so good drafting from Crazy Raccoon. They're willing to take the risk into the Surge as well, which is definitely displaying some confidence for me here. And Zeta Division, if they want to choose a tank, they're going to choose a tank, and it's going to be a Frank. Again, as we saw as well going through the players of Zeta, definitely a brawler which they're quite happy to pick up, and it's a bold one. It really is. I mean, I don't necessarily like his chances against the Gale, though.
I mean, it's my boy Meow's favourite brawler.
Exactly.
So, who knows how well he's going to... Yeah, you're kind of like, oh, okay, they've taken out tank counter. We'll just go a different one. But no, they actually go, okay, we're going to take a tank into a tank counter. It kind of baffles me a little bit, but I'm sure Zeta Division know what they're doing. They're going to get the stew along the way as well, and I do like that brawler. A very versatile, mobile brawler is going to be a big help for Zeta Division against these two kind of... Kenji's got a lot of mobility, but Stu can still get away.
I feel like this could be a very quick set in favor of Zeta. If they get this right, this Frank is either going to absolutely pop off and just destroy the defense and the bush along with it, or it's going to be a bit of a sort of waste of space. And I say that, and now the Primo coming in as well, it's going to provide an even tougher time for the Frank to really get the value that he's trying to bring to the table. I mean, the Stu can dance around the Primo. I mean, this is going to be a very aggressive set nonetheless, and that is what I'm excited for, Trav.
It's what I signed up for.
Exactly.
In the 2024 World Finals of Brawl Stars. Really exciting matchup here. Surge going to be doing a lot against these tanks, getting so many levels, but it's just a question of whether or not Crazy Raccoon are going to be able to force the ball in the net early enough for the Surge to not make the big difference if it gets to overtime. I'm liking my chances with Zeta Division here, but off the start, Tampo trying to move around this left-hand side. Good shots early on from both Gero and Naui. But Mao's going very aggressive. Should be able to pick up Tensai here. Thrown over his shoulder, though. Survives it out just a little bit longer. And a missed pass from Naui. But he is going to surely pick up this ball and get the goal. He misses it! Caught by Moya. And I can't help but feel that's a fumble.
A tense scenario there. One that I feel Zeta should have been able to handle. Meanwhile, Crazy Raccoon now pushing their way back forwards, and Tampo there giving a great amount of scrutiny to Naui. Almost found a triple kill, let's be honest. Moya trying to find the gap between the legs and throws the needle. Still enough is the defense for Zeta.
Good defense from Zeta, but CR had a chance, couldn't quite execute it though. And a hypercharge ready to roll now for Naui, but who's in his face? It's Tensai on the Primo, gets one, hypercharge there, he's ready for the pass forward, goes in on Meow, gets the kill, and the Kenji's there too. CR take goal one of game one of Brawl Ball.
Very back and forth, but now the Frank hypercharge is there for Novi. He's going to be going straight towards the ball. If he gets this off and pulls it off, nice catch and pop as well prior to it. In the meanwhile, though, Tampa going on the aggressive, gets taken care of finally by Meow, and it's just Moya. But to be fair, of the one of the three brawlers to have on the side of Crazy Raccoon still standing, you want your gal for defense.
Yeah, great pushback there from Moya on the left-hand side. Throws him straight into the hands of Tensai, who got a bit of supercharge along the way from it as well. Going to be able to meet Naui in open combat. Get wasted. Super 2. Kenji on the right-hand side. Surely a little 1-2 and a goal, but Meow. Oh no!
No!
They saved it, but they still force it in. Crazy Raccoon going to match point.
They're starting to make this look easy. And it shouldn't be looking this easy against the reigning world champions. Zeta are on the ropes. They've got to find an answer. The Frank is strong. I believe that they can still survive this set. But they've got to start making these moments count because Crazy Raccoon have just got all the momentum in their favor.
Kenji going in, not going to find a lot from it as well, and the gadget was used along the way. Stu trying to make some mobility of the right-hand side work now as well. Paired up with the Frank, who's going to be in range of Tensai once more, thrown over his shoulder. Pretty much lands him directly onto Stampo, but luckily able to survive for the side of Zeta Division. Using a super now, Moya in a tough position. We're going to see the tornado come down, but not going to be able to get a lot from it. Kenji actually slicing and dicing, but Meow will land straight on him and get the tree. Tensai gets a super along the way here. Might want to go for the goal. Chooses to turn back and think better.
Gero's just going to tickle him. Let's be honest, you've got to have Novi there in full force. Jumping in now then is Tensai cycling beautifully and staying alive most importantly as now Moya clears up the scraps. It's just Gero trying to buy some time. But in the meanwhile, he's got to get the ball clear, but he sends it straight back.
Yeah, Tensai wants the super here. He knows he can score if he gets it. Moya's going to miss the super. What a bait from Gero. Little bait and switch in there, but Stampo dashing side to side, evading a few shots from Naui. Nice stuff from CR. 3v2 situation. Down goes another. Just the surge remaining, and it's not enough as Tensai slides it in. 1 minute 20 away from a win.
Zeta need a goal right now. Hypercharge there for Novi, and it should be enough time for BTS to get it off. Tensai into the sky and jumps over the top of it. This forward's going to be forced forwards. A great swim from Moya, just 40 HP. Zeta have got to get this ball in the goal, and they do!
Just Zeta hold on. Super available from Tensai, but 3 on the side of Zeta Division. They're looking for a quick goal to follow up from that one. Meow get that cleared off the line by Gero. Kenji going in, trying to slice and dice, gets one, but now he's still here to defend. Can't get a pass off. Might be a breakaway for Zeta now. They want a chance. Shot's not there, and Tensai will be the one to defend.
So tense as now Crazy Raccoon join this for the defense. Novi's got to heal up now. So much really pivots on this Frank pick, being able to make something happen here, but Tensai is the thorn in that very idea. Moya low, Tampo on the right-hand side low also has got to be a pitch-perfect defense for Zeta here. 3 consecutive smashes, and Tensai's got to think twice.
Tensai still lives though. He's got all of them there. A little knockback available from Moya. Will use the hypercharge in there as well. Puts it into the hands of Tensai, who will corner the ball. Buy CR a bit of time for some respawns, but Meow wants the ball. He's trying to find it.
He gets it!
Jump. The knockback's there. Kenji slicing, but the ball comes in. And Zeta Division live to fight another day.
The timing with that surge was absolutely perfect. It was a jump then, or it was going to be a defense. Zeta finally now off the mark and starting to look like they could bring things forwards. It was looking bleak, so bleak realistically there. As you can see, the Crazy Raccoon was starting to run away with things. It's going to be a tough one. I feel like they are struggling against this Kenji. No doubt about it. They've proved to themselves, most importantly, that they do stand a chance in this set.
Gero gets tossed over his shoulder. A little pass forward for Kenji, but he gets the ball.
Oh,
accidental
no!
pass! An accidental pass into the hands of Gero. That was either the best accident I've ever seen or the best play I've ever seen.
Unreal stuff. Sometimes all you need in the world stage is just a little bit of luck. Meow going in, but Moya has the last say. It's Gero, and now he's pushing themselves forwards now. Moya might be far away from a super here, so they've got to be really cautious to not feed into that very idea here. As now Tensai and Tampo join the mix. CR should be able to defend this one.
Yeah, well, a jump from Tensai will secure it, and he does cycle it out as well. Now pinned into this kind of bottom right-hand side corner. Jump goes in, but a jump from Serge will counteract that, and the Stu will be able to run away. Surviving is Meow now, but it's passed over to the left-hand side where Moya awaits. No super in hand, but that will be one. Now the super comes in. Can the pass go through?
What
and he finishes the super in time and denies CR a goal.
An instrumental save, but now a Tensai coming in with Super and the Hypercharge. This can be forced through here. Meow comes in and actually makes the final save. It's down to Navi. Can he survive? Nice twister there from Moya just to ensure it. As Crazy Raccoon will equalize for the goal.
One goal for the win, or one goal for a set number 3, and that will be decided. Hypercharge gets through! Massive from Naui, but still nothing for Zeta, and they look to try and find another opportunity.
What incredible value, but it's not enough still, as Crazy Raccoon are holding their own and really making Zeta work for this one. It's just Moya, he can gadget on the ball and he will do just that. Navi will get the stun, but they can't get the ball on the side of Zeta.
Yeah, now we're looking for a super now, can break open all these walls with a single play, but yet to be able to get it to Kenji.
Here it is!
Moya, there's the super, can they save it? Slice by Chitampo, who saves CR once again. Now it's them on the attack, can they find the winner?
This is unbelievable, but it is still Crazy Raccoon that are only one goal away from taking this series. A perfectly timed jump into the hands of Garu, who should be able to now dash force to get the ball. It's just Tensai, he's got gadget now as well, and that's got to be on the minds of Zeta.
Tensai goes for ball, but actually plays it straight into their hands once more instead of it. He gets the pass, and the goal's there from Zeta Division. Provided to them on a plate by CR. They even the score. It's 1-1.
We are going all the way. What a pleasure to watch these two teams dance. Deservedly so for Zeta, a little bit of luck sprinkled in, but sometimes you need that to get back in the game, and it was not an easy comp to face into, not by a long shot. I was so worried for Navi, honestly, because that Frank is devastating into a Kenji. You're really struggling to land your shots. To see the plays he was able to establish in that, with that in mind, it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, what a jump from the out there on the defensive portion of the map, and now he did manage to force the ball in the end. Zeta Division doing a great job of holding on. When we expected CR to kind of run away with it, they looked so confident. They were
there was the fumble, yeah, Crazy just landing straight at the feet of Garu, and Crazy Raccoon couldn't really recover from it. Definitely weren't expecting it to be the case, to be down so quickly. That was a beautiful pass too, really was. I mean, oh my goodness, we've got to talk about Meow in that matchup. 18 kills, 521 DPS is crazy. It makes Tampo's 14 kills and 440 look actually miserable by comparison. Crazy stuff there from Zeta.
I mean, what a matchup that was, and we expected no less. We saw the comments and we're like, okay, they're doing a little something. They're going aggressive. We're going to see some great games, and that is exactly what we saw. Sweating. I'm sweating after that one. I need to wipe my head.
They're sweating on the stage. We're sweating on the desk. But, I mean, what a spectacle. It really, really was. I mean, we knew coming in when we saw the draft in that game, it was going to be spectacular. And both teams there just proving that to be true. A wonderful draft. We've got to give our blessings towards it and a lot of credit to it to move in to what will be the decider here. It's going to be Shooting Star as the map, Bounty, of course, as the mode, and a very important draft now. A huge decision in what I said from the beginning is the group of death, in my opinion. Will Crazy Raccoon get their revenge after they were taken down last year by this very team who went the distance to claim the crown and be declared the Brawl Stars World Champions of 2023. The bands are in, the Max, the Sprout, and the Kenji for Crazy Raccoon, the Sprout, the Tick, and the Angelo for Zeta Division.
Yeah, well, we saw the Kenji come in last time. It was kind of, it was okay. It freed up some room for the rest of his team, but didn't do the most. RT will be brought in by Moya as the first pick. It's one of the more versatile ones if they choose to bring something aggressive, and I kind of don't expect it now Kenji's out of the way. It can do both. It's best of both worlds.
Certainly going to have that ability to now hover over the mid as well, which I really do like for RT. Makes a lot of sense when you look and consider the design of that brawler. The Zeta Division, certainly a lot of ranged options here. Byron hasn't really made a play yet today in the draft. I'm really kind of hoping it does come through here for Zeta. Gus is their first idea. Definitely very much now a first pick worthy brawler in the meta as well. So really great stuff for Zeta, starting hand already in motion. But certainly they've got to consider the amount of range control potential as well. If they want to go for a potential thrower along the way. Bell, Piper, that kind of thing is very much my flavor, but Byron, gives us a bit of flexibility to combine with a tankier push or a speedier push along the way as well, so wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, well, I do like the Gus as a first pick. I will say Nani adds that kind of sharpshooter that you wanted to see, and also kind of does well against the rest of the sharpshooters with that extended range, kind of sprays out at the end and makes it really, really tough to dodge if you're someone like Moya or someone like a Piper, as well as that RT, obviously. So we'll see what Crazy Raccoon do have to answer that, because Gus and Nani are two incredible picks from Zeta Division. We know the draft is something that Crazy Raccoon have been struggling with for the past few years, all the way throughout these monthly finals and through last year. They get carried forwards by how good they are, how mechanically skilled they are at this game. But the draft does need to be a big, big part of it, and Gene is what they think is the answer.
It's a nice pick for Zeta Division. Having that Nani really kind of deters Crazy Raccoon away from the Piper idea. It's such a hard counter into it. So they were thinking it. They've now got to reconsider themselves. With the Gene then coming through, just allowing more healing off the back of things and being able to make that power play with the Magic Hand, of course, can be a huge turning point in the back and forth. Third and final pick now coming in for Crazy Raccoon to round off this comp. Going to be going with the Grey. A brawler which, again, first time seeing today, I really quite like it. The ability to really go in at that moment of weakness on your opposition's side with the TP, get your goods, get back out again as well if you're playing it, and the technique of Crazy Raccoon really does lend itself perfectly to a brawler of that very nature. I mean, we could be in for a real treat if we see some Grey plays coming through. For Zeta Division, they might be opting potentially here for a Pearl. We've seen that kind of combination with the Gus come in. Ooh. Penny. That is a bit of a controversial one. Certainly one that's coming forward a little bit more in the pro scene, but we've not been a massive fan of it here on the desk.
Yeah, I mean, with that extended range, it does allow itself to be played on a map like Shooting Star. Yeah, albeit not probably the best brawler for this map. But then again, I think Grey over the other side is another one of those. You know, it's kind of, it's okay on some maps, but when you need range, you don't go Grey. And when you're faced with a Nani and a Gus who have that range, I feel like that puts you a bit of a disadvantage. I think Zeta Division might have what it takes here.
Interesting stuff. Well, either way, this is where it's going to be decided. A missed walking cane there by Tensai to start things off. Big taps though from Tampa on the right-hand side onto Novi, and there is a gadget there, the Hacks gadget, bringing Novi down so low there, forcing him back in continued aggression. Tampo's not done yet, but Novi still stays standing. Another Hacks gadget, 108 HP. They just can't kill him.
Yeah, relying on Moya to come in and get a shot in, but it never arrived. Very difficult for him there, and only one return to sender was used in that process. Meow. Going to be marked up, not going to be able to find the second shot. Now that comes down. I'm not sure Stampo can really reach that through the map, but a lot of damage rolling on in. Meow so low, and that mortar shot is going to be missed. Paul going to be used on the mortar there. Don't really want to overextend for it, and they do remain in a bit of a deficit of stars. The blue star is deciding so far. The Zeta are in their spawn and not got the best position.
Yeah, I don't mind that pull. I think it opens up the map a great deal. The Peep does find a connection down in the bottom left. Tampa as well, just continuing that aggression. Salty Barrel not going to be doing too much there, but it might be something of a bit of a defensive maneuver on that top right later on down the lines. Gero having that shield, such a great thing to have on the defense. It's just the blue star so far. It's the Peep coming around, he's going to cycle, finds a connection onto Moya. But Moya stays standing. Zeta Division holding well under the scrutiny, it must be said.
Zeta Division managing to spring back out, and there's the Kooky Popper that secures the kill. Extends the lead to 3, as Crazy Raccoon kind of lock up a really big hill here in Bounty. 30 seconds on the clock. Hypercharge ready to roll. Going to be used there as well. We've got the shield available from Gus too. Shitampo going to be the target. He pivots and goes for Tensai. Extends it to 5.
This is fantastic here for Zeta, who've not missed a step, but there is still time. 15 seconds now for a counter response for Crazy Raccoon. They've got to find 6 stars or get a combination with the blue. Gary pulled in, pops the shield. They're still staying and standing. A TP there from Tensai, but a pull from Moya. They find the blue. Can they get 3 stars on the right-hand side? Novi is so low, but they can't secure it. And Zeta Division stays standing enough to make it a match point.
Millimeters away from the win. Crazy Raccoon are now faced with a match point. Zeta Division held strong with the blue star for so much of that game, and in the closing seconds almost flipped right in front of their faces. But now only 2 minutes if they get this blue star between Zeta Division and the win.
The adaptation there from Crazy Raccoon to being tapped to that left-hand side instead of the right. Walking Cane does connect from Tensai, but Meow stays standing. And Zeta do secure that blue star, and that gives them that position of power that we saw in the previous game. Already a Peep coming in, working his way forwards, but not going to find anything but a wall there for Zeta. A bit of a miss now, and Crazy Raccoon know it. They're going to strike now while the iron's hot. And Shitampo fires Novi.
Yeah, Walking Cane missed over the left-hand side there, but a pull is available for Moya. Hopefully they don't feed him too much, but Meow might be able to get a mortar in these little kind of close-range matchups that he does have a bit of an advantage with the Salty Barrel in. Stampo getting so many good hits, and Moya with a pull can really extend this lead if he hits it.
See now, Meow's in a bit of a tight spot on his left-hand side. Peep coming in yet again, but on that top right as well. We see the low, but Moya misses the pull. That's a terrible time for it. He could have secured that kill if he'd been able to land it. Meanwhile, Crazy Raccoon still have the lead, but definitely a miss onto Geru. Moya should have done better.
Yeah, I felt like he had quite a lot of free roam ability there. Nobody was really pinching him. A couple more tiles forward and the pull would have just hit with a quick click of the auto-aim. But some good shots coming in. Might be able to cycle this one out quite quickly. Geru falls low and has to retreat. Now the mortar is available. And it's an aggressive one, but Walking Cane straight through the wall. And that's a great play from CR.
Definitely what you want instead of the magic hand if you've got it to your advantage. But now Tensei has no more gadgets. Hypercharge coming in now. This is a huge Peep potential connection. Finds Moya there as Zeta continues to keep the pressure on now. Closing in. They are looking for their star. Tensei has the TP, but where will he go? That's the question. Shield handed over from Geru there to Mao. There, Tensei's low and falls as well. Zeta have got the lead now on the retreat. The pull there from Moya here is good. That's the tempo there for support. There is still time. Will Zeta find a pickup? Hypercharge for CR. The tempo is low, but surviving on. The Peep comes in. Crazy Raccoon survive.
Double match point up next as CR narrowly survive in the bottom left-hand corner. Beaten down, but don't fall. Standing strong, heading on into this last game. Who will win it, and who will take this first game in the group?
Unreal, honestly. I mean, for the second match on the A stream to go the distance. I love it. A miss Walking Cane though from Tensei. I'm not loving that as much. Already Zeta getting themselves stuck into this mid, getting that blue star again for the third time running. And now running back to their spawn marked up there. There's Nomi there from that RT connection. We did see Moya gain that magic hand, connected most importantly. No more time for misses now. This is the final game of this series, and whoever wins it will take this in their set, get that early advantage in Group C.
Both Tensei and Meow really want their supers, but aren't willing to overextend and take a risk to get them. Stampo finding some great shots, wonderful pinch over, but Tensei can't hit his shots. And the same for Meow. The ability on this left-hand side to juke is just so good. The Walking Cane's there. The Salty Barrel wasn't required to tank as he survives and lives to fight another day regardless.
So much pressure. 1 minute remaining on the clock. Another Peep coming in there for Novi. Stampo's low as well. He's going to be working his way around, gathering more damage. Tensei's knocked back into the arms there of Meow and just about survives. Good, solid connection, but Tensei kept his cool and did not TP away. And Novi there so low, the shield is keeping him alive from that Gus. And a perfect TP there for Tensei. Couldn't get the follow-up, but one takedown is all that CR need to gain the lead.
Tensei being the cleanup crew makes this a one-star win. For Crazy,
what a pull!
Huge! What a pull! And I think the Gus shield was missed in there as well. Huge waste and a big star loss for Zeta Division.
25 seconds for Zeta to claim back a ton of stars. They've got the blue, but they need 3 at least, and that'll be Stampo, Moya, or just Tensei all around. Peep coming in, finds it. Still 6 stars, and the blue with Crazy Raccoon. And Zeta down 1 man. Can't really go for this push.
But enough time to do it. 10 seconds there. Vengeful Spirits come out. Return to sender sends it straight back to Moya. But 5 seconds. Will it be done? The pull's going to be missed. Meow surely going to fall. They do nothing but extend the lead. And Crazy Raccoon beat the world champions.
Back and forth all the way. But Crazy Raccoon get their revenge. Who can forget last year when Zeta Division knocked them out of the 2023 World Finals to a 3-2 scoreline. Now, Crazy Raccoon put the world champions on the back foot in the earliest possible moment in Group C.
It's just really not a position you want to be in, taking those early losses in the groups, and I'm well aware that this is the group of death. People are going to be taking losses, and pretty much every single game is going to be considered an upset. But when the world champions lose in their opening game, it's a big story, and what a pull that was as well. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff from Crazy Raccoon all the way through. The pinching ability that this team has, the mechanics is just unmatched.
I mean, here at Tensei got all 3, I would have jumped off the set, honestly. unbelievable. Just a couple of pixels away, but that was Moya's redemption arc, really, for me. Definitely had a bit of trouble connecting to some of those pools, but did land the ones that mattered the most. Just the tempo as well, as we said, coming out of the gate was just absolutely tapping on that RT pick, despite a huge, healthy amount of DPS there for Novi. Just wasn't enough to carry then Zeta through, and Novi, he just carried with those peeps. He really did cycle so many to the table. It just wasn't enough. And for Crazy Raccoon, what an amazing result for them to start off their day.
I mean, I think we've got to touch on that, Penny. I don't think it can be ignored. Real tough stuff for Zeta Division. Not the best of drafts in the closing set of their first game. Tensai getting the MVP, and I think that is fair to say that is well deserved.
You can see how much it means to him as well. Just huge smiles. I mean, going back to 2022, though, I mean, they were smiling in the potential defeat that laid upon them as well. So realistically, there for Crazy Raccoon, they're always smiling. But nonetheless, I mean, a massively important victory for them, and a challenging one, to say the very least, against the world champions of Zeta Division. I mean, what a way to start things off. We've had so much incredible action. So we'll take a little recap now of those groups and see where the score lines have landed. It's been already unreal, Trav.
I mean, here we have it. We saw SK Gaming take down Elevate, and Pioneers managed to beat Space Station in quite a swift 2-0, I will say as well. As we just witnessed now, Crazy Raccoon beat Zeta Division in that final double match point. Humble were victorious in Group D over Rival Esports, and I think that's fair to say that I was kind of expecting.
We're looking pretty good for our predictions so far today,
I mean, honestly, it's rare I'm not looking good for my predictions.
Come on!
You know, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I think, 4 for 4 maybe so far, so I think the majority of the casting team was aligned on them.
I mean, honestly, it can still go either way for me. I mean, it's been that close. We'll definitely gloat a little bit, but nonetheless, I mean, when you look at the action that we've had, I mean, at any given point, it could have gone either way. But that is our second match down on Stream A. Plenty more where that came from. We're going to go to a very short break. You do not want to miss what follows. We'll be right back after this.
The 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals are brought to you by ESL, Monster Energy, and DHL.
If your pistol's faulty or your shotgun's jammed, Jess and Pam are always here to lend a hand. If you want to be a star, fix your winning rate, Junker Garage will make your brawling great.
For weapon repairs, upgrades, or even a hug from Mama Pam.
Junker Garage.
People often ask, how can I do become a world championship winner? What must I do to get Abs of Steel and Fist of Fury? The answer? Gimnasio Primo! You will learn to summon strength, summon asteroids, and serve a spicy jalapeno knuckle sandwich to even the strongest of brawlers. Fight with El Fuego in your heart. It will not be easy, but as El Primo once said, no pain, no gain, no glory. Gimnasio Primo. It's showtime.
Welcome back to Superfest, and what an incredible opening day to Brawl Stars World Finals we have had so far. 2 sensational performances on the main stage from SK Gaming and Crazy Raccoon. We've got to say that if you win your group, it should put you on that smoother ride through into the finals. However, by having the top 12 teams in the world under one roof, anyone can pull out a phenomenal performance out of the bag at any time, and that is why we love it. So we have our next match ready to go on the main stage. So let's introduce your next 2 teams, kicking things off with a team that when they got on a roll, they are quite unstoppable, and with a new signing at the beginning of the year, have they found their missing ingredient? It's Maru, Mori, and iChaos. They are Reply Totem. Their opponents are from South America, bringing heaps of passion to the main stage, but can they maintain their composure? It is Kyodog, Firecrow, and Adinio. They are Space Station Gaming.
Life or death it is right now for Space Station Gaming, and they face down the Broman Empire. That's right, Reply Totem, of course, with that same core. Maru, this time alongside veteran iChaos, are looking to make a deep run as a number 6 seed from EMEA. They blitzed through that LCQ to be here.
The thing is, they had literally the worst run of any team at World Finals through the regular season this year. But as you said, blitzed through the last chance qualifier, and a lot of that was thanks to iChaos. Obviously, we know his favourite brawler. We know it's Rico.
We know.
And how incredible it is on that brawler. But generally, the amount of mechanics and team play and experience especially, that's the selling point for Totem Esports.
100%. And iChaos is definitely an individualistic, kind of player who really looks to try and take the game over. It's a tendency we've seen on all of his teams in the past, SK, you name it. Going up against Space Station Gaming, though, these guys got absolutely clapped by Pioneers. It wasn't a close series. Both sets went 2-0, but this team is stacked with experience. South America, blessed with great representatives here. Firecrow, one of the most feared players around the world. They've just not been able to show their quality yet today.
And that's the thing, we knew Pioneers were going to come out swinging or they were going to crumble under the pressure. And so far it seems like Pioneers are the team. So much support in the background. Can't tell who it's for, but honestly, I think Reply Totem have a big fan following here today.
I mean, they are loved, no doubt about it. We're in Europe, of course. These EMEA teams definitely getting fans to turn out here. And of course, Reply Totem boasts the only player to qualify for every single World Finals ever. iChaos has attended 5 of those 6 that he's qualified for. And that, again, is a team stacked with experience because Maru, alongside him, have also played in some huge games. Reply Totem have definitely had eras of dominance, eras of being feared and respected as the top team in EMEA. They've fallen from that place. But it doesn't really matter what happened during the year, Trav. It's about when you peak, and this will be the right time for that.
Exactly that, and this is the thing. Not only do they have the experience that lands, Maru and Mori especially, and yeah, we can include iChaos in this as well, they just excel at lands. Not only do they have the experience, but this is when they are at their best, and we saw that through the last chance qualifier, dominating a lot of the big teams and big names we saw at that competition.
And on the Space Station side, especially Firecrow and Adinio have been together for many years, going back to that INTZ roster, right? In 2021, they made it to the semi-finals of the World Finals before losing to Na'Vi. And then in 2022, it was that Zeta Division 0 team that beat them in a 5-set banger to eventually go on and win that World Championship there. So this Space Station team, want to be clear, stacked with quality. Haven't quite shown us what they're made of today, but it's something worth looking out for. Firecrow is an individual, mechanically gifted. Really the perfect foil to someone like Chaos, right? Feared for his play on Crows, his favorite brawler, but his Piper, his Colt, a lot of those really mechanically intensive brawlers is where he's been able to shine and take over games in the past.
I mean, as well, speaking on Space Station, the year that they've had through the regular season, it was so far up at the start. 2 monthly final wins in a row, kind of putting foot completely in the shade at the start of the season. Then they started to drop off. The mid-portion of this year really wasn't the best for Space Station. They took a couple of losses to foot in those finals, but when it mattered, when they knew they wanted that direct qualification to World Finals, they showed up once more. And that's what they need to do here right now. They need to play, they need to win, otherwise they're going home.
And they are the only team here that have won 3 monthly finals in their home region. And in fact, they competed in every grand final of every monthly final. Space Station, over the course of the year, have demonstrated, the highest level of consistency of any other team in the world. Now, that South American region, you could argue, a little bit less deep than some of the others, where we have the 6th seed here from EMEA and Reply Totem turning up and making it to Worlds. But it would be such a shame to have, honestly, see consistency, great results month in, month out in their home region, and come here to fall after really only getting to show on the B stream, of course, losing both those sets. They've got to make an impact here. It is do or die for Space Station Gaming, and the Broman Empire is rising up to stand in their way.
Wow. I mean, I don't think many people expected Space Station to be predicted over Reply Totem, especially after their initial showing over on the B stream getting absolutely ripped apart by Pioneers, but we are heading on to Safe Zone in Heist. The bans from Reply Totem, well, let's get to that first. Angelo being the first pick, the ability to kind of hover over the water, the range, the super, and the amount of damage you can rain down on the Safe when using that super is unmatched. The bans from Reply Totem, there were the Kenji, there were the Daryl, and the Penny off the map as well. Chuck, Colette, and Mo taken away by Space Station.
Makes perfect sense. When Kenji and Mo would be the subject of bans, and getting Chuck out of the way is very important. Colette on this map especially can do far too much for free. Cycle that super, hit the safe over and over again. The Mel getting picked up here, it makes sense. Have a nice sharpshooter, decent range, control the middle part of the map. Melody as well is going to give you that all-in potential. And just a great amount of mobility. Space Station can use Adinho on offense or defense equally as easy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, Chuck's off the map. We need to kind of be able to spring up the map whenever we want. We'll take a Melody, and it does a lot of damage as well if you get those notes circling around you, and the gadget popped. You've got some good survivability as well up top in the map, or if you need to defend also. We're back over to Reply Totem, though, with their follow-up picks. They're going to need something that's going to be able to defend this Melody when it comes aggressive, because Angelo's just not that brawler. You can't auto-aim in a close range with him and get a lot of damage, and it's going to be Amber as the answer.
Again, this is a long straightaway in the middle part of the map. Amber really punishes people walking at you in a straight line. Also can control zones pretty effectively with the threat of that super. 8-bit coming in as well to round out this composition. Great range, very high damage. Of course, you know, being able to use a damage booster here, Maru Mari both can benefit from that hugely. It's a high damage, relatively low mobility composition here from Reply Totem, whereas Space Station still have an option to round things out. They're going to go with the Colonel Ruffs.
It's been a while since I've seen that in competitive, I will say, but over the other side, it's got a bit of a risk of it being done very, very swiftly if 8-bit gets on the safe with the booster, with the Amber along with it as well, and if the Angelo can get some supers and get those damage on safe. Space Station are going to have an issue, and I think adding on to that as well, Ruffs can't really pull through with sandbags here. Yes, you're going to be able to tank maybe an Angelo shot or two, but he's got 3 gadgets that can shoot through stuff. Amber can burn through those instantly, and 8-bit's got a bit too much DPS for them to be able to survive.
Yeah, it's going to give you windows of invulnerability, I guess, providing you're not facing that Amber down. Murray is more likely to have his mobility gadget active rather than the one that allows him to pierce terrain with those shots, so there is some utility to those sandbags. But frankly, Trav, Adinho is going to have to be aggressive. Space Station are going to need to use that Melody to punish these low mobility, longer range, high damage brawlers before they can set up shop and start raining down on the safe.
And this is the thing as well. You know, they need the Melody to get the damage, not only open up opportunities as well, because Ruffs and Bell aren't going to be adding that much to the safe. Yes, here and there, Bell's going to be able to get a few bouncing shots back and forward if people are circulating it, and the same, you know, against the 8-bit as well. But Ruffs, you know, throwing a couple low damage shots. It feels a bit weird for me.
Obviously, Ruffs shots can bounce off walls. You can make some use of it there. You can push up to pressure the safe down. Excuse me. We're playing Brawl Ball, gents. See a little bit of warm-up here being undertaken by Space Station. Look, simply put, Space Station are playing for map control here. They really need to make sure they can get up into the middle of the map and be oppressive in order to give themselves a staging ground to start to push up onto the safe, to start to put that damage down. They have some all-in, but only from the Melody. And they're going to be outranged a lot of the time against iChaos and Murray, who, again, because he's on Angelo, can kind of be anywhere. You think it's only a small amount of this map that is really covered by water, but it gives Angelo, first of all, a free ticket to get out of his half of the map, so it's really hard to shut him in his defensive half, and also allows him to play an angle on mid that is really annoying for Space Station to deal with, as they ideally want to punish the choke on the map. They want to throw these bell shots in. They want Reply Totem to be grouped up. But Maru does not have to do that. He doesn't have to play with Chaos and Maru. Unless he wants, of course, a little bit of damage boost, in which, of course, he can toddle over there and spend some time with the rest of his team.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think you've hit the nail on the head there in terms of what the teams have to do to be able to win. But Reply Totem, this kind of looming thing of being able to get so much of the safe down in one push. And not only that as well, looking at these compositions, you're kind of like, okay, if Reply Totem get control, they don't need to have it done in one push. They can play the slow game. They can pin their opponents in spawn. And I feel like that's kind of why I'm siding with their composition just that little bit more. I will say Space Station. They've got some big hitters. Bell can do a lot against this slow 8-bit, and especially when surrounding this turret. going to be able to get a lot of work done. But we're going to need the longevity from Space Station. They need to survive for long periods of time with these rough supply drops if they want to be able to get the job done here.
We've had plenty of time to think and talk about the draft here. The Kona Roughs for us, I think, is the biggest question mark. Supply and drop, of course, can be given over to the Melody, empower her to go a little bit more aggressively. And I think Space Station in hostile territory somehow, Trav.
A lot of Totem fans looming around the crowd today, I will say, making so much noise for the veterans of Mori, Chaos, and Maru. Into the game we go. Safe Zone is going to be the entrance in the first set in this matchup between Space Station and Reply Totem.
Already a shot connected for Fire Crow, as evidenced by the positive feedback shield on the bell. Couple of nice taps here and an S-Take set up, which is going to punish Reply Totem when they want to move forward. Kaya Dog obviously set up to be a right side laner. Can really put pressure down this 8-bit with those bouncing shots. Now we're starting to see a little bit more of the idea, and it is the sandbags with the rough to try to set Fire Crow up to be a nuisance in mid.
Yeah, the power up there for Firecrow is going to be a big, big help. Gadget going to be using Firecrow push back. In goes Adinho, Gadget popped as well. Mori falling so low, but eventually cleaned up. But look at this damage. I haven't even been looking at it going down, and it's already at 60%.
This is what we talked about, though. Space Station using this comp to control the middle part of the map. Maru, like we said, can break out of his own half, but wants to take that off angle that only Angelo can really assume here. Walked into a nest egg, but isn't punished for it. Adinho comes in yet again, and Mori is down. Oh, this Melody is a problem, Trav.
A big, big problem for Reply Totem that they don't have an answer for. There's the nest egg on the right-hand side as well. Will slow Chaos down, but he throws some oil over the right, which is going to have some slowing properties if the Mythic Gear is in use. Goes forward, burns it down. Kydog should fall, and he does. But in Adinho goes, he gets one, but can't find any damage this time. Hypercharge used by Firecrow has his power up in hand as well, dealing so much damage to both the Safe and Maru.
And Maru is marked. He can't do anything about it. The Bell Super is a homing ability with that Hypercharge active. So now it's dangerous here to be Angelo in general. Kaya finally taken down by Mari, who's had a tough time trying to navigate this lane and constantly has to run into Adinho. Maru helps out, but he was exposed. He was marked as well, so it's a one-shot kill there for Fire Crow. And still Reply Totem have not put a scratch on the SSG Safe.
But 45% can be taken off this Space Station Safe with one push from Mori. Has that super now, going to be able to place it on the right-hand side here, out of harm's way, and try and burn down some damage. But Adinho still has a gadget in hand. He's going to trade out and take a lot of the wind out of Reply. Totem sails. Firecrow solo in this defensive position, and still the first signs of damage start to come down from Reply Totem, but nowhere near enough so far.
Mari, though, is in a dangerous spot. Very hard to dig out of that position. Maru able to pop the super and get some extra health now. We're down to 10 seconds left in the round. Space Station at 82 still, but they've lost Firecrow. Adinho barely clicking on, and here comes Maru. Here comes the pressure from Reply Totem. They snatch the round away. Give them an inch, and they'll take a mile.
One push is all it takes for Reply Totem. 2 minutes of pain, but 30 seconds of success. And they take the first game against Space Station.
Oh man, they had to batten those hatches for so much of the round. Takes so much patience to just deal with that punishment. Come back and pay it back with interest.
Well, Totem are going to be looking for a much better start. Regardless of the win, they did not look comfortable in that first game of Safe Zone. Maru, assuming his position over this left-hand side, going to try to keep the range and not feed the Melody super as early as last time. And this time for Totem, much better positioning and an early kill as well.
Maru as well doesn't have his jump gadget. He is using the wall penetration ability. Adinho's going to chase him down. Maru knew his goose was cooked there. Chaos under a lot of pressure as well. 1v3. Gadget won't help him much there. He's trying to preempt a dive from Adinho, who just respects that Amber Gadget damage and backs it up.
Yeah, Kydog almost brought down after picking up that supply drop as well. Adinho going forwards, but uses that last shred of super. You get 3, and only 1 remain for him, but a bit of burn down damage comes in as well from Maru. Gets that as well, and Chaos's positioning is flawless. The same thing happening to Space Station as last game, but this time much, much earlier.
This is exactly what Reply Totem are looking for. And I've got to hand it to Maru. He is not allowing Adinho to bully him on this left side anymore. Maru can threaten Adinho with huge amounts of burst damage. Adinho wants to come forward now, but as you mentioned, Gadget's going to be important for Melody to get in there, and she needs 3 music notes to have that shielding. So here comes Adinho, comes in. 2 notes, Maru getting pressured away, but Adinho has not really touched the safe. Able to get the 1, but Mari staves him off.
Cycles the super back, but down he goes. Chaos now moving forwards, trying to pick up Firecrow before he can get to this super. Does make sure he doesn't secure it. Adino trying to power through, picks up that power up along the way. Now making the move over the right hand side, but runs out of supers. Can't make his way towards the safe just yet. And a good pinch between Mori and the respawning player will be a big help to Totem.
Adino's in trouble here. Very compromising position as Chaos eventually burns him to a crisp. Maru with the hypercharged super means he can move with it and get healed up. Virtually unkillable within that window. Now playing from within the damage booster. That terrain gets broken up by Kyodog's supply drop. 26 seconds left in the round and Kyodog is taken out of the game. Chaos wanted to come forward, but Firecrow had the taps to bring the Amber down.
Not the time to go down for either of the teams here. Mori going to try and bring down Adino before he can make the push around the right side. 3v1 and Kyodog all alone.
10 seconds.
Goodbye to him too. And Reply Totem will add to their lead and take set number 1.
Oh, buddy. What a statement to make for Reply Totem. We questioned the comp a lot for Space Station. We were proven wrong early, but the power of that 8-bit Amber Angelo combination for Reply Totem gets them over the line.
Triple Maru jersey in the crowd as well. Paying pence to what Reply Totem have just showed there as well. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from them. And now just one game away from not only knocking Space Station out of the Brawl Stars World Finals in 2024, but in turn securing themselves a day 2 as well.
How would that work for Space Station? Win 3 monthly finals, come into Worlds looking like the best team in your region, and immediately get dunked. Reply Totem looking dangerous though. Don't be fooled by that number 6 seeding they've been given. They come from a region that forges incredible rosters. And I got it, man, Murray looks sick. I'm gonna be honest with you. He really handled Adino. Once Reply Totem got a feel for the tempo that Melody wanted to bring, they played just outside of Adino's range. Maru didn't give that ground for free, threw down supers for the extra health, and dared Adino to come up and challenge.
I mean, you can see how much Adino has done for this team, but all of that was in game number 1, and Reply Totem still managed to secure that as well. And these are the reasons we question the Ruffs. Yes, you're going to be able to provide some power-ups. He may have assisted in some kills from Adino, but 2 kills himself, it's just plainly not enough.
Not at all. I mean, we know what the Ruffs are supposed to do there. We get an idea of it. We see it play out. Supply drops are used to open up the map a little bit, set up some of your longer range brawlers, maybe allow Adino to benefit from the empowerment of the supply drop itself. But that Master Fletcher gadget use there by Angelo, the pick-off right at the start of that second round, really set the tone for Reply Totem to take it away. Now it's best of 3, folks, so Hard Rock Mine has to be victorious here for Space Station, or they are headed home.
And I can't help but feel confident for the side of Reply Totem now. All of the crowd here in Helsinki backing them as well. Feel a very limited amount of Space Station cheers going on. And Gus is going to be the first pick for Reply Totem on Hard Rock Mine.
This is definitely a pick to maybe set up another brawler for Reply Totem. It says very little about what the plan is going to be for their composition. Gus in and of himself, pretty powerful. His super knocks opponents back, whether it's used on Gus or one of his teammates. And Kooky Popper always represents kill potential when you least expect it. Space Station needs to be very careful of that third balloon that hits. Here comes the Surge here. Very high damage brawler, one that can really dominate a side lane.
Yeah, it takes tanks out of the mix, which is kind of what you tend to see coming in down the lane when you see Augustus the first pick. Penny going to be rolling back on in. Not got the highest success rate so far.
So much of
and
it,
we
though.
do keep on, it keeps on coming back, and I'll keep on questioning it until it proves me wrong.
Yeah, we've seen it on Heist, fair enough, I guess. We've actually seen it on Out in the Open in the past, right? That Heist map we just saw, excuse me, to put pressure down on the safe and make it hard to actually defend it. But here, might even see it be a mid-pick. Salty Barrel used quite frequently. So here's that tank that we sort of saw Reply Totem telegraph here. Picked into the Surge, no less.
Yeah, we kind of expect to see that staved off because of that first pick from Space Station. It's not hard to pivot when you're with the Gus. He's capable on his own regardless of not being able to provide a shield to a tank. But they're just going to run the Daryl straight into the Surge. I mean, who can blame them? With that rework, giving him 2 rolls for each super he earns, it becomes a much better brawler. Nita to go along with it as well. Not only is that a great pick on the lane, but it's a great pick to take away from Space Station 2.
It's also, it just represents a huge amount of pressure across the map. The Clancy gets picked up here. Well, again, at level 3, probably the scariest brawler in the game. Does an unbelievable amount of damage and gets an empowered super as a result of that. But, you know, seeing the Nita coming in, Hypercharge, of course, legal here for Worlds, means that Bruce is a real threat, especially with something like Faux Fur, to reduce incoming damage. Reply Totem are making a real gambit here for map control, trying to shut Space Station away. But as soon as they get rolling, as soon as the Surge gets levels, as soon as the Clancy builds credits up, that's when Space Station will be at their peak. They're playing two brawlers that get stronger in the long game.
Yeah, Clancy, definitely going to be a big, big help against the Daryl, and the same goes to be said for the Surge too. I just still have to question Penny mid. Yes, it's going to be okay against the Gus. It's got some more range thanks to a nice little balance change that Penny got. But is it going to be enough to stave off the Nita Bears? Yes, splash through them, but the Daryl rolling in as well is just such a big thing that you've got to account for when you're playing that mid.
I mean, that is a brawler, much like, Clancy, that doesn't want to be run up on, that doesn't want to be pressed in close quarters. Again, we like the look of Reply Totem's composition. At least that's the vibe I'm getting for you here, Trav. Space Station have access to two of the highest damage brawlers in the entire game, and Penny's no slouch in that metric either. But this is gem grab. This is about having a safe mid and keeping them alive. Reply Totem want to push up the side lanes with their tanks, be really annoying to duel against, and you'll see early in the game, they're going to have such an advantage in those matchups. They need to really snowball those, make sure Space Station never actually get into the round.
We're going to need a quick win for Reply Totem if they want to be able to win this one, because Surge and Clancy, when powered up, are going to be devastating for the Daryl. And the same goes for the Gem Carrier as well. If you've got a level 4 Surge with Hypercharge running, the amount of range, the amount of spray that can happen with that Hypercharge on top of the brawlers, like the Penny who's going to be able to splash through this Bruce, like the Clancy who's going to be completely leveled up by the end of this game, I'm sure, against the Daryl. And if not, something's gone wrong.
This, of course, is Reply Totem's first outing for 2024 Worlds. Regardless of the result in this match, they will be facing Kansas City Pioneers in their last game of the group. That will be a blockbuster, but this one promises to be spicy as well. We're jumping into Hard Rock Mine, folks. Space Station must win this set.
Chaos picking up an early gem off his side. Maury, and over the right side, Maru's just going to stay nice and safe on this right-hand side, stay out of the way of Dino's shots, but now he's sneaking up, finds some great shots and a little bit of an overextension, but he's earned a good amount of that power-up.
Yeah, gets good damage, almost to silver, but Chaos snipes him away. Here comes Maru with the tar barrel for the slow. Kyodog at least has to level up for that invulnerability frame and avoids being taken down, but Maru can do that over and over again.
Totem are well aware they need this early win, and that's why they don't mind feeding them early on. Kyodog getting some great shots in, wonderful stuff in the back lines here, thanks to that Gus shield as well. Penny finds a couple of connections, but Maru will go straight for him, grabs 2, and that's already 7.
It's so hard to deal with this Reply Totem comp. Maori both just taking up residence inside SSG's bushes. Maru walks away with the potential for, 14,000 health from that Gus shield. Has picked up a couple of gems, doesn't want to give them away too cheaply. So Maori now will be the prime aggressor here for Reply Totem, but if they just play the slow game, pick up the gems that only spawn on their side of the map, they'll have a countdown.
Pennytor is there, Maru chooses to go a different route, in he goes,
Big
5
damage.
Crow falls down, 1 from the middle, start it, and Totem dominance continues.
And what do you say about that? This is what we said. Reply Totem are going to look to win in the early stages of the game. Kyodog is still level 2. I'm pretty sure Adinho was still level 2 as well. They need to both be level 3 to have any impact here. And that was a pretty anemic showing from the South American squad. Reply Totem got this so far on lock.
No sign of a space station in Hard Rock Mine, and it's do or die. Lose this game and they go home. Reply Totem will go forwards into day 2 as well. Big game for both these teams.
Oh, it's massive. Reply Totem would love a win here, which would mean that they go through pretty much either way. Yeah, that penny damage can be impressive. Chaos bears the brunt of it and allows Firecrow to start Space Station off with a 3-gem lead.
Well, already doing better. They've picked up more gems than they had in the entirety of their previous game. Reply Totem pinching down now on Adinho, tries to get a bit of a look in. Gadget going to be used and not find any connections. Slight waste there. He just needs these levels, but Maru has the roll on this right-hand side, goes in with the tar barrel. Adinho going to be caught in it as well, slowed down and killed. Mortar already, but Maru's just going to go for that. Say goodbye to that.
Okay.
Short-lived.
Nice turret, bro. Notice there, Adinho tries to use his gadget to get extra credits built up, but he's not ready for Maru, who's now starting to flex on him a little bit. Showing off the mechanics behind the boxes. Ficro's been pulled away from the middle of the map as well. Maru is running some deadly interference, and he gets a kill there as well. Sheer audacity.
Slightly,
What a
but
pick-off.
down goes Chaos. The mid is completely open now. Bear barreling down this left-hand side, trying to leave these gems. They don't want to pick them up. They'll wait for the Gust to come back and reclaim them, but puts himself at risk instantly to do so.
Maru's going to pick up some as well. Here comes Maru. He's in a great spot. But Adino gets level 3. He managed to get value off the gadget that doubles his incoming tokens from damage done. So now Clancy is at his strongest. Kyodog also level 3.
So much power from the space station side right now, and this is what Totem didn't want. They don't want the late game. Mori so low, and with 3 gems in hand, he's got to be careful. There's the pinch. Adino will swoop them straight up, but Maru going in himself. Shield provided, but it's just not going to be enough. Hypercharge is there, and level 5 Kyodog does it all for space station.
With 10 seconds left, Reply Totem have got to find hard engage. Maru just getting peppered down. That surge is looking terrifying. Mori wants to step up here now and find Adino, but he carries no gems. That's got to be Maru going in, but there's nothing to be done. Finally, we get to see what Space Station can do.
And that's their first game on the board at World Finals here as well. After a clean sweep from Pioneers, they fend off Reply Totem. For now, at least, still do or die. Will Reply take it? Will Reply Totem take it and go all the way to day 2? Or will Space Station live to fight another day?
Again, keep an eye on Adino. He doesn't mind dying early if it means he gets those credits built up. With the use of the gadget, he'll throw it out when he thinks he's going to get into a fight, and he can just dump all of his ammo into one of these tanks.
Ficro in the mid portion of the map. Maru catches Kyodog out, but he does get a level 2. Nice super up there from Kyodog. Uses another one, but wastes level 3. Thought he was going to be able to do it, but if anything, a slight misroll from Maru keeps him alive.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Maru maybe wasn't looking to line it up that way, so Kyodog back to level 2. Adino, his star power gives him half a level in terms of credits. That's why he has it. So he's only really hit 1 shot so far. Maru does not want to give him 3 damage at all. Kyodog, fair enough. Shrugs off that, goes up to level 3 now. Looking a little bit more dangerous here through the map as he clips Chaos. 4 gems to Chaos's name. Nice little dodge. Kuki Poppy used. Maru wants to try and follow up on the damage. He gets Kyodog, resets that level a little bit more. The Maru not going to stick around. Maru's now been able to slip up that right-hand side, and Adino is really struggling to find damage. That Clancy looking more like Plankton right now. Maru drops, but job done. Reply Totem even in gems.
Mori with some great positioning, but on the flip side, Kyodog's got more of the same shield provided, but Maru with a beautiful roll, 4 hits. Ficro in a compromised position, but eventually Mori's cleaned up. Adino will move up the right-hand side and try claim some of Reply Totem's territory.
And he's very close to level 3 as well. Adino about to become an absolute menace. Pops gadget, Mori sees it, doesn't actually hit him, so nothing gained for Adino during that window. Now the pressure mounts and Chaos cleans him up. Super available, in goes Maru. 15,000 points of pure HP, folks, and Kyodog is feeling the pressure. Maru moves up, now forced to back away a little bit, and Adino is barely alive. Here comes the bear. Ficro needs to walk away from it. He knows he's faster, but now he's forced into the corner. Maru comes in. This is dangerous. Another super build up there for the Daryl, but Ficro is still healthy. Oh my goodness. Reply Totem have let it slip. Chaos got picked off in the middle of the map.
Space Station living to fight another day, but down the bottom, Adino will pick that up, and now countdown starts for Space Station. Kyodog jumps over a shot there as well. I think they can't even hit from mid either. That's only 10. They need another one. They need a reset. Maru gets super, but he falls down. Totem can't get it done. Chaos so low, he goes down. And Space Station will drag it to set 3.
Oh man. The 2-1 gods say not today. We're going to keep it rolling. Every match a banger so far here on day 1 of the Brawl Stars World Finals. And Space Station Gaming, the #1 seed from South America, gets into the game.
Refuse to fall. I want to see this back. I was expecting Totem to walk over them, but eventually Chaos went down in the back lines of Reply Totem. Must have been a great pinch from Adino coming in there as well. Wonderful stuff from Space Station to be able to turn this one around of what looked like a Reply Totem win.
Again, if Space Station have the ability to control the pace of the game, if they can drag it out like this, then they're going to be stronger. Pound for pound, their brawlers just hit harder. Once Kyodog gets to level 4, Adino here, he's gold. So every shot comes out, double shots come out. Also, that super hits very, very hard. Kaidog at 298 DPS over the course of the set. Devastating stuff, finding 8 kills. That surge continues to prove lethal to these tank-heavy compositions.
10 kills for Maro is absolutely huge, and especially on a losing side as well. 10 kills on a losing side is not something you expect to see from a tank, and how many times he went in, got the kills, but eventually it doesn't matter. Once Space Station were powered up, it was out of Totem's reach.
Tough game for Mari, I think, in general, on that meter. Constantly outranged, constantly trying to deny value away from the Clancy. But that means sometimes when you see that gadget pop, you can't really fight him, you can't walk up on him. And Dino is able to use those windows, at least if he can't gain credits with that super, at least generate enough threat to keep the Nita, to keep Maori at bay and drag the game out further. Beautifully done for Space Station under immense pressure, facing elimination. They get it together. And now the number 6 seed from EMEA starting to feel the pressure.
We'll be heading on to open business in Hot Zone to decide this one. Space Station want to battle out. They want to get this win. Reply Totem know that if they win this one, they go to day number 2, whether that be in the first or second seed. The bans are in. Kenji, Larry and Laurie and Mo over the left-hand side, and the first pick of Clancy for Reply Totem, whose bans will be the Stu, the Mortis, and the Frank.
Once again, Clancy means you want to play for a longer game. Some game types in Brawl Stars simply are longer by definition. They tend to be dragged out a little bit more. Yeah, some key bans of Frank obviously getting taken away. We saw Pioneers look second best over on the B stream. They looked absolutely terrifying on that brawler, showing us exactly why he is so powerful. Saw it obviously in one of the earlier matches here on the mainstream too. Mo, Kenji, Larry and Laurie gonna get a lot of bans over the course of this tournament. Surge the answer here from Space Station, another brawler who only gets stronger as time passes.
Well, onto the second pick for Space Station now. It's kind of, they've split what Brawl's Space Station in the last one. They're both probably going to get powered up by the end of a Hot Zone game, which just lasts for such a long period of time when you're fighting over one zone like this map will be. What will Space Station add to it, though? That is the question.
Look, I like the Clancy here. You've got to be fighting. You're taking damage. You're dealing damage. Like, this is really an all-in kind of map, so you will build that up pretty quickly. The kit here, more likely intended to combine with the last pick here for Space Station, but again, if a map like Open Business, you can really close the gap. You know, that cardboard box gadget is very helpful, of course, to get Kit within striking distance, and at this level, Kit is used far less supportively and far more aggressively to set up one of those stuns on an enemy brawler to blow them up. It's interesting to see here, though.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like they're trying to get Reply Totem to overcompensate for a tank or something like that, and then be able to just take a clean third pick and have Kit just do its own thing. They're going to go with the Barley, combat the Kit on the back of something with a thrower of their own. It's an answer, but Space Station can surely just go quite aggressive at the end of this one.
You have sustain if you take the the healing tonic. Throw that gadget down and keep your team healthy, because they have to be on the point. They have to fight on the point itself. And also the way this map is set up, throwers can get quite close while still playing behind those walls and being another nuisance. So expect Chaos to really have a lot of damage being dealt over the course of this set. And again, last call, that super from Barley is pretty straightforward, folks. It covers a large area of the map, does damage over time, and here's the Amber. This is such a no-holds-barred Brawl composition here from Reply Totem. They really want to get good AoE coverage with their damage, even their Clancy super as well. Very effective at covering a wide area.
Yeah, I mean, Gus going to be rolling on in then for Space Station's last pick. You know, if you didn't have the Surge, there'd be a big opening for a tank here, but it kind of just seems like Reply Totem going to try stay out of the way, probably move the Barley over to the Surge, prevent those levels being gained. And even when Surge goes down, those levels are going to be reset. But if you can get Clancy all the way up, even death doesn't stop him from being powerful.
Homie does not get reset. And it just becomes terrifying. He is probably the strongest brawler in the game, because his super does 26% extra damage when he's at level 3, which is huge, on top of a range increase from level 2. Let's see how this plays out now. Mari again wants to throw down that oil just to get higher reload speeds. And Healing Tonic being used here by Totem. Mari, though, under big pressure earlier. Dino gets in his face. Kaidog also with gadget pop. Totem respect it now as that expires. He walks away after taking a tickle. Reply Totem need to get front and center on this point.
I mean, Chaos has thrown out gadgets like they're just not limited. He's used so many already. I think that's probably 3. Maybe using that 4th gear gadget.
Might have to here. I think it's probably the best option. don't really care about speed gear so much. You have that shield already. Here comes Edinho again. Oh, clever. They give the Gus shield to the kid as he dives in. Makes him harder to peel up one of your brawlers, but that blows up in Space Station's face.
Yeah, a lot of control for the side of Reply Totem now, and with this composition, it should be locked down. Barley going to be moving over to Kyodok Shilly, who still remains level 1, regardless of all of what we've just seen. He's still level 1. Shield going to be provided to him as well, and he gets some heals along the way. Jump goes in from Edinho. Nice enough, cycles it out, and gets another one as well. Reply Totem with just one brawler remaining, pushed all the way back to spawn.
Maru would like to be level 3 by now. He's getting close, in fairness. The Space Station now can make up some of the deficit they just suffered. Maru wants to move forward here. Right, Chaos needs to land these shots, and if you overextend, Kid is going to hit you with that super. And honestly, without that extra player, Reply Totem look much weaker. They need Clancy to be in these fights for long periods of time. But the cycling of the supers here from Edinho is too much.
And Kyodok's going to have a level 3 when he levels up as well. Totem need to fight back. This running away from them. Kyodok jumps in on the bar. He tries to keep them at bay. They kind of need to ignore him, but at the same time they can't. It's ticking up, but they get them off the zone. Hypercharged Barley goes in, pinned in a corner, but Chaos will fall regardless. What a shot! Steps on the hypercharge by accident, and now it's a battle for the mid.
It looked like Kyodok might have been able to survive that. This would look very different had that happened. Here's Maru, though, level 3 finally. Edinho going to dive in. They blown to smithereens. Space Station Gaming. Where have you been all day?
All it took to get started was staring defeat in the eyes and saying no. Space Station on match point now. And Reply Totem, who had one for themselves in the previous set, are now in a really tough position.
Turns out imminent death can have a very motivating effect, Trav.
Who would have thought?
Here we go again. Space Station with that first round here. Reply Totem now at risk of seeing this game slip between their fingers. Yeah, again, straight away, healing gadget being used there by Chaos. Edinho dives in, but the follow-up isn't quite there. He has to get it done himself, so that results in a trade, but elsewhere, Kyodok just wins out against Maori.
I mean, what a start for Space Station again. Totem backs against the wall now. They need to get this happening. Another gadget being thrown out there by Chaos. Edinho super in hand. Kyodok can use the gadget as well. Super thrown out over the right-hand side to the left by Chaos. Not really finding too much, and more healing provided.
They've got to get on the point. Reply Totem haven't started accumulating any of that capture progress yet, and this could be ugly. That's the third gadget used from Chaos, and it barely gets his team through the fight. He doesn't want to step onto the point either. Kyodok is daring him to challenge. Looking absolutely dominant right now in this surge, and Chaos just gets flattened.
I mean, it was almost 50-0 before Totem even stepped on the point, even thought about it. Kyodok level 3 over the right-hand side has got some pressure and can keep Chaos back for now. But eventually he's fighting, he's battling out. Shield used on himself by Ficro. Super rains down from Maru, but the jump from Edinho will say no to that. A super, the last call from Chaos, tries to fend off Kyodok. But still, at this long-range open matchup, he doesn't stand a chance.
Chaos needs to stand on the point, which is not where Barley wants to be, but with the lack of teammates, he has no choice. Mari wants a bit of that extra reload, but Firecrow's hitting awfully hard, and Mari's going to go down here. Time is short. Space Station with a huge lead, and they're continuing to extend it. This is getting dangerous for the Broman Empire.
Totem falling apart. Maru got this level 3. Needs to use his super. Kyodok gets shielded up. They stay on the zone a little bit more. 16% is all they need. A super thrown out from Mori now. Pushing them back bit by bit. Edinho trying to get a little bit of a super. Needs to jump on someone. But the hits from Kyodok are so influential. Trade, hypercharge, and Space Station gonna wait for the opportune moment.
Good coverage with that hypercharge from Chaos. Reply Totem clawing their way back into the game, but Space Station is 16% away from having victory, and in they come once more. Edinho gets the trade at the very least. Maru goes for the super, but nobody out there to be impacted by it. Kyodok backs away, gets himself that hyper, looks to try and take the fight, but that shield's about to expire. Reply Totem have almost caught up. It's now 4% separating these two teams. And Maru looking dangerous, throws the torrent out. Firecrow trying to get around the corner, but Reply Totem, they might have this one. Edinho dives in, Mori on the point. Reply Totem, hold on.
What a comeback from Reply Totem. And now it's them who are staring the death in the face, and they've woken up as well. What a double match point we're about to witness.
This might have been the most insane day one of any Worlds I've ever seen. Space Station are up for the challenge, but Reply Totem hang on in that second round, and here's the decider. Space Station must win here, or they'll be going home. Reply Totem, a win here puts them into day 2.
Super. Already available for Adinho, but Kyodog trying to stay away from Chaos, who's doing so much. Adinho jumps on in. He's gonna go down. Last call comes in as well. Kyodog so low. And SSG, what started as a perfect set, is slowly slipping away.
Maru level 2 now, starting to get a little bit scarier. 38% and counting. Adinho trying to build a super. He's got it available. Another healing tonic thrown down. The dive pulls up short. Adinho misses. And now Reply Totem at 50%.
Ficro uses a shield to keep himself alive, but is that the moment to do it? It's running away. 60% lead, near enough for Reply Totem. Eventually Chaos will fall, and SSG get a lifeline, some control, and the percentage starts ticking up for them too.
Mari pops that gadget. Reload speed coming through. Ficro goes a little bit low now, but has a super up. Adinho! Oh, they can't get it healed up in time. Kyodog going to be the one to get the shield instead. And Chaos steps up. Hypercharge activated there. Kyodog unable to get any extra percentage, and here come the cavalry for Reply.
Back in the mid, 30% standing between them and day 2 of the World Finals. Ficro takes a few shots to face, and now level 3. Devastating
big super
for them now. Adinho goes in, might be able to get Mori here, not enough DPS. Kyodog, the last one alive. Can he keep SSG in this?
He can't stand him, that's for sure. Chaos able to pick him up there with that super. Ficro comes in, gives himself the shield, but he can't stand on the point. He can't contest. Adinho try as he might. Space Station are sent blasting off again. And the Empire holds strong.
What started as smooth sailing for Reply Totem ended with it going all the way. Eventually, they managed to be victorious and send Space Station packing. They've got themselves to day 2 of the World Finals. What seed will they be going in is now the question.
Tell you what, they really needed that wake-up call. Reply Totem, that first round, they were barely in it. But what a way to come back into this game. They understood they had to play around that kid super, that dive in. Too much for them to deal with. Maru, as the games went on, he's able to build up that level 3 a little quicker and start to use it to pressure these Space Station brawlers down. Quite liberal with his use of that super. Again, you can just see how terrifying he is. And Chaos had to use every little bit of healing he had with that gadget available. And early were they popped.
I mean, we saw on match point for Space Station in this replay. They had a 30% lead. They had a triple kill. They only needed 30% as well. And it still ended up being a Reply Totem win. How hard they had to persevere through that. It's just unthinkable. In terms of kills, it's all Space Station. But Reply Totem got the time on the zone.
Heartbreak. Ficro 327 DPS, Kyodog with 15 kills, and still it was not enough. Reply Totem had to fight their way through LCQ. And honestly, there were doubts about them even there. Coming into this group, we knew that South America had sent some powerful, powerful delegates. But now, regardless of the result of Reply Totem versus Pioneers, they will make it to day 2. Seeding, of course, though, is a big difference maker. You take the top seed in your group, you play the second seed from that other group, and iChaos comes out as your MVP. Had a real tough job. As that Barley on Hot Zone, it comes out on top.
Reply Totem setting themselves up for some big success here. They've got to beat Pioneers to top this group, and that is going to be one heck of a matchup. But Space Station, we do sadly have to say goodbye to them. They might have got absolutely decimated by Pioneers, but here against Reply Totem, some would argue they might have deserved the win.
We've seen this, we've seen it in the Worlds in the past. These quality teams come out and unfortunately just stumble. It's really about how quickly you can get your motor running, how quickly you can get started. So that now leaves Group B with Pioneers and Reply Totem both having a win to their name. Obviously, of Group A, in the meantime, SK Gaming were able to downfoot esports and will be advancing from that group in first place. They've really shown us some great games. Rival Esports on Humble, we saw how that one went. Humble over on the beat stream able to get them, but some insane moments from that game. And well, if you missed Crazy Raccoon versus Zeta Division, I recommend you go back and check it. Every game I feel like we've had here in the main arena has gone to all 3 sets. It's never been closer. We have the very best teams from all around the world giving it their all for our viewing pleasure. And if you're viewing, hopefully it's over at event.brawlstars.com, because that's where you can earn yourself some great in-game loot, including, by the way, a hypercharge if you can get that far down the reward track for voting and answering trivia questions throughout the day. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled. We're there. The B stream is going to be there as well. And we'll be back after the break. Take a deep breath. We're going to see more of the very best Brawl in the world played out for you right here.
The 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals are brought to you by ESL, Monster Energy, and DHL.
It's funny. They call us heroes. They say everything is back to normal. But they don't know how much we sacrifice to keep it that way. Some things never change. Well, maybe they do.
A collision of regional playstyles, team comps, and insane individual plays. That is what Brawl Stars Esports is all about. Welcome back to an explosive day here at Superfest, and there is still plenty more to come. Mainly our next match. Our first team to step out onto the main stage qualified via the Last Chance qualifier. And that means that they knocked out many of the top contenders getting to this stage of the competition. Please welcome to the main stage, Gugu, Mebius, and Ope. They are Eternal Fire. Their opponents are an impressive roster who keep surprising everybody along the way, but let's see if they can continue that trend. It's Semantic, Lukey, and Boss. They are Humble.
Well, folks, Group D is about to get real. Eternal Fire make their way to the stage for their first game of this group stage. I'm Mitch Leslie here, joined by Kenny. Mate, great to have you here. This is a banger. It's an inter-regional clash already. And there's a bit of bad blood there, if you remember. Ope on SK last year, getting in the face of Semantic and Foot after they knocked them out of the World Finals. Time to settle the score.
This one's personal. It's EMEA. It's a little bit of a revenge arc as well, in a sense. I mean, Semantic finally got his first ever win over somebody outside of mainland China, but I know he wants more. This is just different. On the other end, though, Eternal Fire, Ope knows how to deal with being an underdog.
Absolutely. I mean, he was saddled with a lot of expectation on that SK Gaming roster and showed as a young player he really had what it took to be a great leader. These two teams, of course, they know each other really well. They're from that same region. But let's have a look at Humble, because I tell you what, coming out of EMEA as the #1 seed carries with itself the weight of expectation. Kenny, are they up to the task?
I think so. At least that's where I'm going in terms of predictions. And they were the #1 seed in EMEA all year long. And a big reason for that is Semantic, the experience that he's had, especially considering this roster was kind of thrown together. I know they didn't expect to play with each other this year. This was kind of some leftover players who couldn't quite find their home, but they've certainly made something of it this year.
Yeah, Semantic was, saying towards the end of last year, like, I'm trying to find a team that I really feel like can make a deep run here. So he turns to, this roster, of course, which has turned out to be fantastic. I mean, Luki, player that doesn't get talked about enough, the winner of the 2023 Brawl on Door Rookie of the Year award, young player but extremely talented, and alongside Boss, this team has really made waves in their home region. They recently played up against Eternal Fire. It ended up being a 5-set series in that last monthly final in EMEA, which Humble were able to take, but it was a close one. Eternal Fire have really grown in strides over the course of this year, but this is the time to come alive. This is the time to peak, and for Humble, it's a matter of demonstrating that same level of supremacy as we saw domestically.
Eternal Fire playing their first one of this group. Humble on the B stream earlier narrowly caught a victory. It came down to the wire, which is something I don't think a lot of people, including myself, expected. Humble, though, if they take care of business here and they go 2-0, they will be leading themselves to another day. That would be a big deal for the squad.
I mean, coming out of the group in first seed as well is pretty darn important. They'll be taking Group B's number 2. We're going into Heist first. Folks, it is safe zone time. And you all at home at event.brawlstars.com have Humble to take this game. And I'll tell you what, in the arena, the French support is pretty real. Now, shouldn't be surprised because every World Finals we've had, the French turn out and make it happen. Jumping in here in just a moment to our picks and bans. What do we have on deck? Ope had to do a lot of the calling last year on SK Gaming. Definitely got involved in a lot of that draft discussion as well. Whereas Semantic on foot, yeah, I feel like he did a huge amount of it. He, alongside Drage, really put their heads together to try and craft the best comps possible. A team that wanted also to set Lenar up for success.
A lot of passion going to be shared on this stage, and the ban's finally getting underway. A double Kenji ban. Really interesting to see this, especially on a map like Heist, where you don't always necessarily see that, but I think it goes to show the prioritization these guys have about this brawler.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely terrifying. We've seen him in the hands of Crazy Raccoon. We've also seen him used by Elevate. Sometimes craft comps around the Kenji to shield him up as much as possible, get Gus in there. Obviously use Kenji's incredible kit as well for damage mitigation and healing to jump in and get those key assassinations. So, Nani on a map like this makes perfect sense. Those peeps come in, can put a lot of pressure down. Chuck, okay. Chuck picked up here for Humble. They've tipped their hand early in the draft.
The old train conductor, and to your point, if you pick this early, you gotta watch out. There are certainly counter opportunities in a draft setting when you go this early. I'm curious if they pair one of those typical counters and just take it away. Bell gonna be the selection here. Stability, long-range brawler. This is a brawler that they also were interested in earlier today in their other match.
And she offers you great map control. If you can set up, get forward, and put those nest eggs down, anytime a defender steps up, it's likely curtains for them if they get slowed down. I mean, you can basically auto-aim them at that point and knock them out. So for Eternal Fire, there's a question of how do we advance our own game plan and what do we have to answer a Chuck? In the past, we've seen Cordelius used to take Chuck out of the fight. Anything that can really pull him away. We've seen BB as well used defensively to try and knock him off course. Because once he sets up, once he gets those poles down, he can go back and forth over that safe and be a real problem. Amber, got to be locked in here for Eternal Fire.
Chuck's also slowed down a little bit in terms of play rate at a professional level. I think people have just figured out better ways to deal with him. And I think a telling sign of that is there's a time and a place this year even where Chuck would have been in this ban stage 10 times out of 10. There's no way he would have even escaped it. The fact that he's even a selection option, I think, goes to show that pros are a little more confident in facing him, especially considered that EF had the first overall pick and deferred from selecting him. Goes to show that they're confident. Confidence certainly being exuded by this selection. A bull pick.
I wonder if they want to all in. We see this a lot, actually. Teams, when they see Chuck, they realize, okay, we need to race against the Chuck composition. Dive on in, get more safe damage down, and no one better up close than Bull. Gugu gonna run it down mid and try and get in that safe damage as early and as often as possible. So Humble now, knowing this, have to ask themselves, what do we have to slow Bull down to knock him off course? Now they're having the same questions because they're dealing with the all-in potential with higher DPS than Chuck boasts. Clancy here, I thought we were going to have a short game.
I'm conflicted because Clancy is going to be a great way of dealing with this Bull. I just feel like the overall composition, to your point, when we're racing with a Bull, when we got a Nani peep where you can get a quick teleport to the other end, there's so many options for EF to get in immediately. They have Chuck, but Bell isn't necessarily a huge damage dealer. If they shadow this Clancy onto the Bull, I think it'll be super helpful because they got to get to that tier 3 and get it fast.
Here we go, folks. Humble versus Eternal Fire. It's an EMEA clash between your top seed and Eternal Fire, who had to make it in through LCQ Let's get it started.
A lot of loud and proud EMEA fans in the stands here today. Mebius, Gugu, Ope taking the mid here. Semantic just flanking this left-hand side, trying to establish as many posts as possible. The sooner the better for them.
Ope really getting aggressive here. Semantic, no! Choo-choo, baby. It is time to dive. That's safe. Ope goes down to Boss. That's a problem for Eternal Fire. They were maybe hoping to respond in some way, but Semantic does not get out scot-free.
Lukey still remaining alive. Now it's a defensive opportunity for them. Here comes Gugu, right in the face of his enemy. Ope able to charge in as well. They're going to see him chuck the other way. Maybe he's there to defend it. Semantic gets out scot-free.
Yeah, at least in the middle part of the map. Gugu is currently marked, so has to be careful. Lukey, okay, fair enough. Guarantees that hit here. Hypercharge popped. Ope's going to be a nuisance from that left corner, but he cannot strike the safe from that position. He will need to super out from that cover and go for it. Gugu here very durable while using the peep, so Semantic opts to try and double back and help out. The peep definitely connected onto the safe. Ope blown up, and Humble have a nice little lead early.
I would consider that a huge failure. 3 members all sent in at once. They mustered 12%. That's a lot of all-in potential that failed there.
And Boss is already level 3. He is hitting like an absolute truck, and Humble have the train as well. Yep, that's dirty stuff. Semantic gets on in, and Eternal Fire have been unable to answer the threat of this Chuck. In he goes once more. Good damage cycling that super, and Lukey should be able to finish the job here. That's all she wrote for our first round.
Humble, convincing stuff. #1 seed from EMEA. This other team has been here all year long, and they haven't gotten close to the consistency of this other roster. EF really got to come alive here. I mean, that's just not going to cut it here at the world stage.
They surprised us, I think. Making it through LCQ, this Eternal Fire team really rose to the occasion. But they're going up against a team that really seems to have so few weaknesses. Rival were able to maybe expose some, but they had to give it their all. They still came off second best. Boss here yet to find a hit, but should be charging those credits up pretty quickly. Gugu taking a couple of those bell shots, has to back up from Mebius to make sure they don't bounce around.
Semantic getting established here in game #2. There he goes. No damage quite yet, though. Looking for the enemy side. Now Nani can charge up, go for this super, and just goes for a plain old simple kill. That'll do.
One more Lukey. That's going to be enough. Ope marked up and brought down. Gugu now wants to come forward. Semantic just ignores him. He's playing his own game out here, folks. Ope, full-time defense for him. And Lukey's able to avoid the rest of that amber damage. Humble have map control.
Another big mistake there. I mean, Lukey not going down cost him a little bit. Boss, Semantic still staying alive. The chip damage just keeps pouring in. This time, though, he's been on the other end with a shotgun brawler.
Yeah, Ope is on full defense. He is not allowed to leave the safe for any stretch, apparently. As Eternal Fire have already fallen behind by 28%. And choo-choo, Semantic's in the mix again. Doesn't mind going down here. Boss, in the meantime, is just charging up. He's now rank 3 already. Mebius feels the brunt of that Clancy damage as Ope tried to charge in and open up the map, but he's marked and quickly brought down again.
The Bulldozer not doing a lot of destruction right now outside of a few walls. He's doing a no eyes safe damage. Things are just getting scarier and scarier here. Humble just making it look so easy.
The nest eggs as well. Ope can't do anything about them. He walks into them, gets slowed up. It's the easy pickings for Boss, who right now is the most fearsome brawler on the field. And only 22% left for Eternal Fire. They are in deep trouble.
And they're fighting the clock as well. Another charge in from Semantic. 7,000 HP, all that remains. And now it's EF's turn. They have to get to the other end, but they're not surviving. Humble clearing the stage here. Just a few more shots, and that's all she wrote. Humble up 1-0.
And that is how you put Eternal Fire on notice, folks. Humble utterly extinguished them in our first set. It's a composition where they tip their hand early in the draft, Kenny. They show that Chuck. They say, here's our game plan. What are you going to do about it?
And they answered it with bull. And unfortunately for them, I don't know if it was a holistic draft composition, if it's just a little bit of jitters at the big world stage. It was not clicking in this set #1. Eternal Fire just seemed to be caught off guard, didn't have an answer. It was either Chuck charging in, Boss meeting him with some heavy DPS, and honestly, Lukey, the mechanics looked unbelievable at this guy. So many dodges, so many connections, the damage amplifier to bring down Bull. It just felt like they were ready for anything.
Yeah, man, getting to